There are no ugly women, just lazy ones, Helena Rubinstein once said, highlighting that beauty is essentially women's work and responsibility. It didn't matter if you were healthy, exercised regularly, and weren't overweight. If wearing one of the new, ultra-high-cut bathing suits would reveal too much roundness, a little fat, what the cosmetics industry christened cellulite in the 1970s, you would be dismissed as slothful and lacking moral fiber and self-respect, not to mention lazy, self-indulgent, insufficiently vigorous, lacking control, sedentary, and old. The only acceptable sedentary indulgence was to lie on a chaise longue slathered from head to toe in sludge. No matter that the female hip area is naturally more fatty than the male, a function of reproduction, or that most women's jobs require constant sitting, two factors that tend to work against the developing of buns of steel. Over and again we are told that a real woman, whatever her age, would just get off her butt, and by overcoming her sloth, not just get in shape, but conquer genetics and history. Her buns of steel would instantly identify her as someone who subscribed to the new yuppie ethic that insisted even in leisure hours, the truly tough and truly deserving never stopped working. They always say these really informative and logical things, like that the first part of the body people usually look at is the face, which is why you shouldn't have any lines on yours. So what if, after a few tucks, you were laid up for 6 weeks and looked like you'd gone 18 rounds with George Foreman? Cosmetic surgery is being presented as a perfectly natural, affordable routine procedure. An increasing number of women are heeding the call. Cosmetic surgery is growing at a faster rate than any other medical specialty and grosses approximately $300 million a year. The decision to get a facelift or not is inescapably a political decision. Getting one means you're acquiescing to our culture's sick norms about beauty, youth, and being worth it. Not getting one means you're going to have to tough it out, be baggy-faced, and take the heat. Actresses and models have no choice. The rest of the women are pulled between these nodes. Cosmetic surgery has been popularized as a new lifestyle option available to seemingly everyone in a post-feminist neoliberal society. Nowadays, it seems that achieving a brand new you, the title of another makeover show broadcast on British television, has become a feasible possibility and choice, achievable through the magic of modern-day fairy godmothers, who appear to participants in the form of cosmetic surgeons, dentists, nutritionists, fitness gurus, beauticians, and fashion stylists. What are we to make of the surgical makeover that produces a seemingly more confident, content, and self-assured individual? Does cosmetic surgery have the potential to bring about such a state of delirious happiness, as we are led to believe by the program, or is this a case of self-induced delirium? The usual transformation trajectory is one that connects the sexual desirability with the appearance of the sexual experience, and thus one which prompts the woman to become more overtly sexualized in her dress. We live in a world which worships the unreal female body and despises real female power. In this culture, where women are commanded to always look available but never actually be so, where we are obliged to appear socially and sexually consumable while consuming as little as possible, our most drastic retaliation is to undertake our own consumption, to consume ourselves, and so we do in ever-increasing numbers. We are required to appear confident and sexually available at all times, but shamed and ostracized if we express arrogance, ambition, or any sort of erotic desire. Everywhere in every part of women's lives, physical control and self-discipline and sterile sexual display are watchwords of a new gender conformity that is branded into our very flesh. A hip young feminist must have her indulgences, just as pink has become the color that somehow symbolizes both freedom and sexual availability, like a curious form of hygienic nakedness. Chocolate has come to indicate that the female devourer is a little bit, well, naughty. What, then, does it really mean to be female? Is femaleness determined biologically, culturally, or in the marketplace? Does that consumer culture definition of female work in women's favor, allowing them the freedom to put on and take off identities at will? Or does it work against them, furthering cultural insecurities in the groups of women who do wear makeup and the groups of women who do not? The female body has become industrialized. A woman must buy the means to paint on, sculpt a look of femininity, a look which is the guarantee of visibility in sexist society for each individual woman. It is almost as though woman herself were the factory, feeding in the means of production, painting on the mask and emerging, transformed with value added in the process, a commodity ready for consumption. One of the ways that girly femininity is achieved is through segregated space. Girlfriends appropriate public space, particularly shopping areas, beauty salons, and workplaces, which are linked to media and fashion. These spaces, which become coded as intimate, are sites for women to nurture and care for each other, but they also polarize the women from the men, and consequently affirm the more traditional femininities that post-feminist popular culture covets. It is a spatial gesture which essentializes femininity. Narcissism was more in for women than ever, and the ability to indulge oneself, pamper oneself, and focus at length on oneself without having to listen to the needy voices of others was the mark of upscale female achievement. Images of a certain kind of successful woman proliferate: the city worker in heels, the flexible agency employee, the hard-working hedonist who can afford to spend her income on vibrators and wine, and would have us believe that, yes, capitalism is a girl's best friend. The demand to be an adaptable worker, to be constantly networking, selling yourself, in effect to become a kind of walking CV, is felt keenly by both sexes in the developed world. The rules for the single girl are relatively simple. A woman must be fiscally independent and responsible. A woman must bow to the codes of consumer culture by developing and maintaining a style that is both personal and fashionable. She must have her own well-appointed apartment. She must have an interesting job, and less importantly, be an entertaining host and accomplished cook. Finally, she must be thin as well as physically fit, because you need to look glamorous every minute. The heroine's ability to manipulate costume and other aspects of her physical and social performance reminds us that cross-dressing isn't only an issue of gender, but one of class. She's the woman who has it all. Through her own hard work, determination, and willpower, she overcomes any obstacles she encounters that women are faced with, and rises to success, proving that anyone can do it, and it's just down to each woman's own determination. Problematic? Yes. While this meritocratic concept is idealistic in the sense that one can achieve it all, it fails to address the issues of racial inequality and has been dubbed as white feminism for its lack of inclusivity. A consumer lifestyle is presented not as a series of commodities to be bought, but as an integrated lifestyle to be emulated. We aspire to become these women and to harness their identity because of their idealistic lifestyle. And when films place brands and commodities that clearly lead to the women's happiness and success in the film, it only furthers the mantra of consumer culture, powered by neoliberal beliefs that the only way you can be happy like them is to indulge in those commodities. And if you don't, then you are responsible for your own unhappiness. We then become obsessed in this fantasy of achieving this identity, that we purchase more, and eventually our identity is to consume. Without consumption, we lose touch with who we are, or rather who we want to be. So here's the question, girls. What if every woman woke up tomorrow and simply decided that she was happy with the way she looked? She might exercise to keep herself healthy and get some Vaseline intensive care from CVS to soothe her dry skin, but basically that would be the extent of it. Think of the entire multi-billion-dollar industries that would crumble.